Welcome back, everybody, to our very official, very by the book recaps and reviews and Easter eggs and references.
The most wonderful time of the year. Recap time.
It is, that's
Any
right.
time of the year.
And November.
Yes.
Two of the most wonderful times of the year. On the Australian calendar, at least.
That's right. You know what we do in November?
What's that?
Watch Hawkeye. It's a few pretty lean years. Let me
I
tell
tell you what, it's been grim. You know? My entire life.
But what we've done, it's finally happened. We've all, as a nation and as a world, we've all cracked open the official Jeremy Renner app.
Yep.
And we've watched the first two episodes of Hawkeye.
I wanted to ask about the Jeremy Renner app, actually. Let's do it now. What happened to the Jeremy Renner app?
Lately?
Yeah, did he end up deleting it?
I don't know.
Let's check.
Let's check the Play Store, shall we?
While we're checking,
other stores are available.
While we're checking, if people could leave a like on this video, that'd be much appreciated. We're going to be doing the entire Hawkeye series.
Oh, James.
Yep.
If you go to the Google Play Store and you type in Jeremy Renner app, the first result is Center, a health and fitness app by Chris Hemsworth.
Ooh, brutal. So it launched in 2017. It was meant to be a place to do fun things, according to the description of the Apple Store. It featured in-app feed of Instagram-like updates from Renner.
Just use Instagram, Renner. Just use Instagram.
Yeah, the app shut down in early 2020, unfortunately. Another victim of the pandemic, no doubt.
That's exactly right. And political correctness.
I think it's two things. Anyways, full spoilers. Let's kick things off. So how did you feel about heading back to Avengers 2012 in the opening sequence?
Yeah, good fun.
It makes me go, oh yeah, there's money in these.
These things still happened, didn't they?
Yeah. Get over it, though.
Yeah,
get over this thing. It was nearly 10 years ago now.
Oh, some of you got PTSD. Oh, some of you were nearly killed by the Chitauri. Get over it.
Get over it.
Oh, the building where you lived and grew up for the first 5 years of your life and collapsed around you and killed your dad. Get over it.
Get over it. I don't know if he is dead. We'll talk about it. It's also nice to know that somebody saw Hawkeye fire a couple of his 12 arrows.
Right?
You know what I mean? Someone was out there on the day being like, oh, okay. He's doing some stuff.
I was going to say, so first things first. So this is based on, in large part, a Hawkeye series called My Life as a Weapon.
Yeah.
In which original Hawkeye, Clint Barton, meets Kate Bishop, new Hawkeye. Now, in that original series, was Kate Bishop was her life saved by original Hawkeye? I don't think it was.
I don't think so. I think a big difference, there's a lot of similarities, but a big difference between the comic and this, and we have done a book club on it at bigsandwich.co if you do want to check it out, is that she's like wildly incompetent compared to him. Whereas in the comic,
she's probably better than him in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean, I like this characterization. I like Haley Steinfeld in the role, but one of the big differences is that, she is very enthusiastic. She does have a lot of skills, but she's kind of starstruck. She's never been in the thick of it.
Exactly,
like real Hawkeye has. But in the comic book, she is sort of very assertive, very confident, sort of on the border of smug.
Yeah.
And then right, crossing over that border onto smug. Like, she is the best and she knows she's the best.
Yeah.
And then it's only when she encounters, real crime and the mob and stuff that she sort of gets a comeuppance of some kind. But I think this is a good dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. And look, and that way it gives the character, room to grow and become a Hawkeye of her own right. And this really is, I'm not surprised by this, but it's an equally built show. Yes. Now, it's called Hawkeye because it's about two Hawkeyes.
That's right.
They should have called it Hawkeyes. Two
Hawk's
Hawkeyes.
Eye?
Hawk's Eyes. Yeah. But like you mentioned, it's very matte fraction. Like the intro, graphics are, it's very much from that comic.
David Aha is his name.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that Matt Fraction. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds in this, but Matt Fraction gets a credit as consulting producer.
Yeah.
But David Aha, who basically designed the entire look of that series, along with I think Matt Hollingsworth, sort of in the that kind of stylized, groovy 60s kind of look.
So much of
like
that
the cover,
comic
and the cover is, and that is kind of, the title sequence looks like that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that
there's posters that look a lot like that.
There's not a huge acknowledgement beyond, I think, a special thanks at the end.
Yeah, I did see on Twitter as well.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of hey, they just took a lot of his work and didn't apparently give him any money. Well, that's no good if true.
That is classic comic book stuff, isn't it?
Boy, is it. Look, I can't find the exact tweet, but it was a little bit of hey, I designed this poster. And nobody's hey, you designed this poster, you know what I mean? So, but look, hopefully he is being fairly compensated for this.
You hope so, yeah.
Because, that comic it's very unique, you know,
Isn't it
and
though?
very, very distinct. But we get Pizza Dog.
Jobs, something can't be very unique. It can only be unique or not unique.
It can be very unique.
Okay.
It can be more. It can be beyond unique.
It can be
Mason.
pretty unique.
Yeah. We get Pizza Dog.
Yeah.
We get Tracksuit Mafia. I think a lot of the humor is similar. You shouldn't give dogs pizza though, right? Probably.
No, but you should also not hit them with a car, which is what has been omitted from this.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because the reason he does have one eye and the reason he's called in comics is called Lucky is that he gets hit by a car and then sort of Hawkeye stays at the vet's overnight while we see the dog lives. But also you can't hit a dog with a car on a Disney Plus show probably. You can on the Jeremy Renner app.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you could before
you could.
it was cancelled.
That's right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm hoping because we saw a bit of this early on. We get a little bit more insight into the kind of archery, like how it works. Because there's
how archery works.
Well, I've said that wrong. More like the finesse of it. Remember how she fires the arrow into the bell tower?
Yes.
And you see like time slows and the snow like slows down,
Yeah,
so you kind of get the idea of like.
Yeah,
she's focused and her breath is like holding her breath or whatever. Please more of that, please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like seeing like the specifics of what makes a good archer as opposed to just like firing CGI arrows at a million aliens
definitely,
or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? What'd you think of the fun musical montage moment? It's not a montage, it's just a scene.
I had to cover my eyes for some of it. I know it was supposed to be cringy, and let me tell you, they nailed it in that instance because... Oh boy! Like if I was there, I would have pulled a Hawkeye and left to get some air. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed how like Ant-Man was there and
Took center
he
stage.
he wasn't even there. Yeah, I also liked in this that like even you see it in the musical that people know him.
Yes.
You know, I think I was worried that it was going to not worried. Like I was really concerned. I was very uniquely concerned that it was going to be like. Who's this guy or whatever? We don't know. What do you mean you're in the Avengers or whatever? That's a silly name. But, he's not the most famous. People are like, yeah, we know this guy.
Yeah, and he's sort of uncomfortable with that, even with that level of fame. He's
Yeah.
because essentially he's like a special forces guy who got dragged into...
Yeah, wearing a costume.
And saving the world. And, well, you know what? Shouldn't have had a gimmick. Should have just had a gun.
Yeah, that's true. Should have had a gun.
Should have used his regular name, and he would have drifted away.
You're probably right, yeah. Let's talk about some peripheral characters, including the parents of Kate Bishop. Mm-hmm. So in the comics, her dad actually faked her death, and I wonder whether that's
his death?
Yes. That's right. Can you fake someone else's death? Probably not without that.
Kate, you thought you'd die, but actually you didn't die. I tricked everyone. I'm still alive, Dad.
So, yeah, and I wonder whether it seems like he's in some kind of trouble, and I wonder whether he used that as a situation to, but then again, there was probably a body in that coffin or whatever, so it's probably.
But I mean, it's
not
the Marvel universe.
We didn't see him get his head smashed in by a piece of concrete,
and even then, could have been a clone.
Could have been a clone. Could have been a hologram, and her mother
could have been a hologram her entire childhood.
That's right.
Dad, I just want to give you a hug. You can't. I'm uncomfortable with it. But I am solid. You can quote me on that.
And her mother ends up working for Madame Mask, which I don't think is going to be the situation here. But it seems like there's some other things going on there.
Yeah, there's some little alterations from the source material. But I think
how do you feel about the inclusion of villains such as Jack Duquesne?
Oh my goodness.
Swordsman.
Yes.
So
a role Paul F. Tompkins was born to play.
Oh, you're not wrong.
But
he's got a great mustache for it, this guy, though, doesn't he?
That's right. I think so too, yeah.
I've written here
specifically... The most sinister foster dad there is.
Definitely.
Or stepdad, rather.
He's reading books on being a stepdad. I don't like him. I think you're not supposed to like him because he's a villain. In the comics, the swordsman trained Hawkeye.
Yes, that's
original
right.
Hawkeye, that is. It seems in this that they probably won't have a connection because they're probably the same age.
Yes.
Because, you could probably speak more to this. Hawkeye's origin isn't in superheroing, is it?
It's the circus
Yep.
and crime.
And crime, that's right, exactly.
Intertwined since day one, as far as I'm concerned.
No argument there. Also, Kate Bishop is definitely going to kill Jack with a sword, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It's 100% coming his way.
In comics, we call that the swordsman's sword.
Oh,
if you introduce the swordsman's sword in Act 1,
yeah,
he gets killed by it in Act 3.
By a swordsman's sword.
And by that, I mean Episode 8 or whatever.
Do you like LARPing, Mason?
Yes, I love LARPing.
Do you like seeing it in live action?
I LARP it.
Wow. I also like for the LARPing they didn't go down the route of they did a little bit, but look at these weirdos and nerds because they know who their audience is, don't
Yes,
they?
that's true.
It's people who dress up and play pretend some of the time, and I think it was like a fun little moment. And it did seem for a moment there though they circled him and were like hitting him with swords, right?
Yeah, but maybe they're all flesh wounds.
Oh, okay. And he did have his armor on, didn't he?
That's true. He
Should
did.
have put the helmet on. He should have put the helmet on. But what I thought was interesting about that guy that he who had stolen his suit.
Yes.
I was going to do some Easter eggs in the end, but I'll chuck him in now. That's Grills, and he's his neighbor one of his neighbors from My Life as a weapon.
Oh, interesting. So for people who don't know, in the comic book, some of the deal of the comic book is it's Hawkeye's in the Avengers, but what does he do when he's not in the Avengers? And it is that he owns a building in New York, like an apartment building in New York, and he's friends with all the tenants.
Yep.
And he just sort of hangs out there. So they sort of had to, but in the movies, obviously, he doesn't live in New York. He's not a swinging bachelor. He's a family man. He has a number of kids. Some boys and some girls. I thought the numbers were opposite in previous installments of his life. Yep. I thought it was 2 girls and a boy, but it turns out it's a girl and 2 boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, but of course they have to sort of arrange a situation where he gets back to New York, and so in this, his wife has sent him and the kids on a kind of solo Christmas holiday.
Linda Cardellini, who we were worried was not going to make an appearance.
Yes, exactly.
And she's barely in it.
Well, maybe she'll be on the phone in later episodes. Don't worry about it.
That is true, yeah.
Or maybe the tracksuit mafia will head up to upstate New York and kidnap her or whatever.
Does he still live on that farm?
I don't know. I don't even know where the farm is,
Yeah, no idea. Who knows? Ronan. Did you like the idea of bringing Ronan back into the universe of sorts, or some repercussions for that goddamn haircut?
I mean, yes. Just burn the suit, I reckon.
Yeah, I guess it was lost. I mean, it was recovered from when the Avengers compound was like
Look, it's an interesting MacGuffin, I think, but I mean, it's not like it's not a Timmy O'Toole situation. He hasn't like put a label on the inside that says property of Clint Barton.
Well, that is true, yeah.
So,
but I guess the idea is that he'd probably lost track of it when the Avengers compound exploded.
Yes.
So he just wanted to make sure that it couldn't be traced back to the Avengers or in turn to him or whatever. What's the deal with that watch, do you think? Do you think that's a big deal? Do you think it's just an old Stark Tech watch?
Just an old Stark Tech watch. Who knows? Dangerous is what it is. Maybe I didn't get a good enough look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a cool watch.
It could just be
Maybe it's one of those rude watches.
What's rude?
The hands do rude stuff.
Oh.
So, it's
okay.
Doing,
Yeah, rude stuff.
Rude stuff.
Rude stuff. Collings, don't put the watch in. Don't put the rude watch in, please. Collings is editing these. He does a wonderful job.
Tremendous job.
That retractable sword. How does that work? That's all I've written here. How does that work?
So that's your in a world where maybe one of the main character's dads isn't dead. He was just a hologram the whole time, or a clone.
Yeah.
Your biggest problem is how does that sword retract?
Well, it's a solid steel blade.
Yes.
And it goes into a handle, which is like a third of the size.
Yes.
It's not a lightsaber, which is something I could be totally fine with, apparently.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm saying.
It's repulsor powered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like also that I think he's a better mentor. Well, not really a mentor. He's kind of like brushing it off a lot, but he seems to be more responsible, I guess, in this than he is in the comic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he's got those dad skills.
Exactly. I think that's the big difference is that, like, if you folded him into this from the MCU and then he was just like, whatever, I'm a freewheeling dude. I live in an abandoned building or whatever. You know what I mean? I think...
My wife kicked me out and this is cool, actually.
Yeah. I also enjoy how, like, he doesn't really know how he lost his hearing. He's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun montage where it's like, well, it could have been one of 1,000 explosions that finally did this ear in. Yeah.
That's it. What do you think we're going to be getting in terms of Black Widow? Because there is some fallout. Like, there is some fallout in terms of, he's got some PTSD from all the explosions that happened. And his best friend, they had that competition to see who could kill themselves. And obviously, like, we saw the post-credits for Black Widow where it looked like, another Black Widow might be showing up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In this. Do you think she's maybe going to turn up to kill him?
Maybe. Do you think maybe she has some connection in this universe to the tracksuit mafia?
Okay, potentially, yeah.
Those Eastern European types.
They are Eastern European types, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are.
Ripped straight from the comics.
And the headlines.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you want me to do some Easter eggs, Mason?
Yes.
Moira Brandon, who owns the apartment where they go to, who's an actress in the MCU. She's been in like a Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of knockoff. I don't know if you saw the poster. Oh, speaking of bloody dogs, here comes one now. Mason tried to open the door without getting out of the chair, and then he nearly fell out of the chair. Just so everybody knows that happens.
For content. I did it for content.
Yeah, so she's from the Marvel Comics. And she does work with the Avengers like a little bit and then is murdered or something. I think she's like, she funds them or something. I can't remember.
Okay. She acts with them.
Yeah, she acts with them.
Captain America, I'm here to act. I've been murdered.
I don't think she's actually related to Kate Bishop though. I think she just knew the apartment was empty.
Right,
She's like, it was my aunt, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Pat Kiernan. We saw he's the news anchor in the MCU.
Oh, yes.
He's also been in the Netflix shows. He's been in Spider-Man movies. He's been in a bunch of stuff. So he makes another appearance just to go.
Netflix shows,
The Netflix shows. And you might have seen this, but when we saw the university campus at the start.
Oh, it was Stane
Tower.
Stane Tower, yeah.
Which so Obadiah Stane, of course, was the original Iron Man villain. Well, not technically the original Iron Man villain. It was probably the Mandarin or something, or Guy Pearce or something. But
I think the original Iron Man villain was hubris.
Wow, that's very
greed.
true. And greed. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's interesting that the university just went, I'll just leave that building up, I reckon. We'll leave that. Well, no, you'd leave the building, but you might take the plaque down.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly donated, money.
Yeah, they took down the statue of Stane frying Tony Stark's brain with that inner ear disruptor thing. Just a statue, just a big stone statue of him standing over Tony on the couch.
Yeah.
Being like,
I love that. Then, of course, we get like and this speaks to more the end of the show as well, the catch and release, which is a Black Widow technique where you get intentionally captured.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
to get some more information of what you want.
We also saw an appearance of the Empire Linen Service.
Oh.
Or like Secret Empire Linen Service. Am I right, James?
Is that what you think it is?
No.
Wow, I agree with you. Secret Empire.
Yeah.
Very good.
But of course, big final scene.
Big
of course,
reveal.
we saw the maybe the leader, or at least someone who's working with the Tracksuit Mafia, is Echo.
Yeah. Who's getting her own TV show as well. Turns out coming up soon. For those people who don't know, would you explain her as being the Reverse Daredevil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scared of everything.
The woman who's afraid of literally everything.
That's right. Who's a woman, by the way.
That's right. So she's deaf. As a result of that, she's got like vibrational echo abilities. I'm not really sure what they're going to do for this particular version. Like, are they going to do it more street level like we've seen in Netflix? Is it going to be a bit more like magical and other world? Not magical, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, probably that, I'd imagine. But yeah, so she was mentored in the comics at least by Kingpin.
Yeah.
Which is why people are saying, is Kingpin going to bloody show up in this series?
Well, I mean, if the newsreader from the Netflix shows appear, then maybe it's only a few short steps away to Kingpin.
I think Vinny D has hinted at it.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel's hinted at that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be in this.
Wow.
Vincent D'Onofrio declined to comment, but Vinny D said, I'll take this one.
Okay.
But of course, like in the comics at least, Kingpin is like responsible for her parents' death and then whatever, and then trained her like as an assassin, but he's really a bad dude and whatever. So she's like one of those like anti-hero kind of, or like more accurately, like was a villain and then decides to be nicer. Because being nice is cool. That's the coolest thing you can do.
I think it's cool also.
Yeah. I've just got one bit of information here to end on. This is from Synpop. And it's from Hawkeye producer Trin Tran said that Clint Barton may not be done in the MCU after this Disney Plus show. There's always new stories to be told, especially with Clint Barton. There's so much more to explore. We have to wait and see what happens. So there you go. Jeremy Renner's like, I'll do as many of these as you'll give me.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
My app collapsed in on itself. My media empire is in ruins. I need the money, he says. And
Can there be a scene where I sing my new single?
Yes, please.
Kate Bishop and Clint, they go into a karaoke bar and they're like, "Oh my god, let's sing the new Jeremy Renner single."
Well, they're both musicians, aren't they?
That's true. Yes,
in real life. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'd be curious to know what people think of this. I think it was a pretty solid start, and I'm always kind of impressed with the budget of these. I shouldn't be at this point, but I just, they're very like high quality.
That's true.
Television. You know what I mean?
We shouldn't be surprised because they have all the money.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to take some of your money and give it to us.
All your money.
All your money. Where, as mentioned, we have a service called bigsandwich.co where we do, every week, we do something bonus that exclusively goes up there. We're talking bonus podcasts. We're talking movie commentaries. We recently did Spider-Man Homecoming, didn't we, Mason?
That's right.
And the audio versions of these reviews, they go up there straight away after we record them. Quick as a whip. Isn't that right, Mason?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick as the proverbial hawk is what they say down in Australia.
That's right. Bob Hawke. Famous Australian drunk. And Prime Minister. Mostly the drunk thing, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, if you got any thoughts, comments, theories, please leave them below. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
Huge thank you to Rob Collings for editing this.
He's done it again, probably.
He's so glad, I'd imagine, that they compressed 2 episodes into the one release date.
Right.
That's one less video, and I'm all for that. All right, thanks, everybody.
Grab that, Jamie, guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.